You can't plant an apple tree and expect oranges. Let me explain to you what I mean. A lot of times, the easiest thing to do in life is to say whatever circumstances that you're in right now is because of bad luck. It's because God ain't hearing your prayers. But you got to look at this thing a lot deeper. You are where you are sometimes. It's just a culmination of actions that you have taken. What you plant in the ground has to bear fruit. So if you have spent the majority of your life being a hateful person, if you have spent the majority of your life being a liar, then that means that you have a seed in the ground that's cultivated in lies, being a horrible person. So what you must understand that is eventually that seed has to sprout. And that's why you are experiencing what you're experiencing now. You see, somebody told me, hey, you got like 100 and something K views on one video. And they were so excited. And I told them, that's amazing, but I got hundreds more videos. You see, where I'm at right now is because of what I planted years ago. And the problem with the world is they will put you in a box for what they see right now. A lot of people think, man, that was luck. No, it's what you planted in the ground. When you plant something in the ground and you want it to grow, you can't then complain about the rain. They go hand in hand. If you plant something in the ground, you can't complain about the rain. But then if it rains too much, it messes the soil up. So you also need the sun. So when that sun is shining, you can't complain and say, man, I just need some more rain. The sun is shining. You need both for that thing to grow. So why is it that in your everyday life, when you experience the rain, you're troubled? Because if what you planted in the ground is cultivated by faith, you understand that in this world, you're going to go through some things. I said grow through some things. Everything that happens to you, sometimes it's God asking you, are you ready for what's next? I use this analogy a lot. A lot of times when you're working your 9 to 5, you have aspirations that you want to be the manager. You like, man, if I'm a manager, I know that I can run this better. But you're always late. When you take your lunch breaks, you go over the time. When you're sitting at the desk, you on the phone. But up here you saying, but I know I can run this better. You can't, because what you are planting in the ground right now has to bear fruit. And if you do get that position, then what? You already have these habits. You see, in my life, everything that I have experienced was because of what I planted in the ground. When I started doing these videos, like I said, this is not an overnight thing. I've been doing this stuff for years. And there was times that I really start questioning myself, like, why am I doing this? Then I remember, if it's for me, then it's for me. And see, a lot of times you have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to say, do I really have faith or am I just popping it? This is when you know your faith is really lacking. When you want something or you're pursuing something and you worried about all the haters. You worried about these people that's talking about you. But the people that's talking about you, they have nothing to do with where you're trying to go. But it's easier to focus on the quote unquote haters. Then you get on social media, you make a video, you make a post and you say, I'm doing this for all my haters. I'm gonna give my haters something to hate about this year. Yeah, watch me. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, because if they don't like you, they're still not gonna like you. But for me, I used to have the mindset that, I used to come to people and I used to be like, hey, can you just share what I just did? And they wouldn't do it. But I would watch them share everything else, every famous person else. And for a minute, I began to get jaded. But then I remembered I planted something in the ground. I just had to keep tending to the soil. I needed that sunshine, but I needed that rain. But above all things, I needed faith. I needed faith that what I was putting in the ground was eventually going to sprout up. How I tend to that soil determines how it sprouts up. And that's the problem with a lot of us today. When the rain comes, we complain. When the sun is shining, we complain. But in that complaint, somewhere nestled in there is a lack of faith. That's why whenever you have that thought in your mind that you want to get something off the ground, all it takes is one person. It ain't gonna work. They are speaking to how you already feel inside. You just need them to, okay, cool. See, you ever picked up the phone and you going through some mess and you just feel like, man, ain't nothing ever working out for me. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna call someone who who speaks to how you feel. If you feel like because of everything that's going on in the world, you just not gonna make it, you gonna pick up that phone and you're gonna call someone who you know feels the same way. So now both of y'all just speedballing off each other about how bad the world, about how I can't do this, and y'all just going back and forth because that's the easiest route. But you won't pick up the phone and call someone that's gonna tell you, hey, listen, get up out your feelings. When people call me or if they inbox me and they tell me everything that's going wrong, I'm not gonna let you stay there. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's somebody out there right now that is praying for your mess. It is Monday morning and some people are complaining about having to go to a job that you prayed for 3 years ago and you're complaining, but it's somebody out there who can't get hired that's praying to be in your position. And that's life. It's all about, I said this before, it's all about perspective, but not only perspective, it's all about what you have planted in the ground. When I go places, I speak to everyone. I don't treat nobody less than. You know what I'm doing? I'm planting a seed in the ground. I'll tell you a quick story, then I get out your way. I always talk about my grandparents, right? And if you go back and look at all my videos, they're always going to be the topic of conversation. But I watched my grandparents pray every morning and every night. When I went back there in the room and it was early in the morning, my grandfather was on his knees praying. And at the end of the night, he was praying. So much so that I just relied on that. I can be out there doing whatever, but I knew that about 10 o'clock at night, my grandfather was going to be on his knees praying. And that gave me comfort. That gave me a sense of, okay, I know he praying for me. I'm good. Like I'm good because I know he got a direct line to God and I'm good. But guess what? My grandparents aren't here physically no more. So everything that I watched, I had to apply for my life. You see, they planted a seed 45 years ago in the ground. And I watched them tend to the soil. I watched them cultivate the soil. I watched it with my own eyes. I didn't get out there and help them, but I watched it. So when they left, I had the blueprint. And now that I have kids, when I come on here and make these videos, this is a blueprint for them. I can't tell them that God can make a way out of no way and they see me crying every day. I can't tell them that if you pray, if you have faith, God gonna work it out if it's for you. I can't tell them that. And I'm sitting over here, man, I don't know if God's gonna do it. So the message to this video today is, if you find yourself on quote unquote hard times or what you view as hard times, take a moment and think about what have you planted in the ground. Have you planted faith in the ground? Have you planted kindness in the ground? Or have you planted, it's never gonna get right, I've always been like this, my family, this, that, and the other, but have you planted that in the ground? Because whatever you plant, it has to harvest.